It's Campervan tour time. 1999 E350 Ford 7.3 liter diesel van. This is our camper van, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'm going to give you a tour, the first official tour of everything, how it works, where it goes, how we store all that stuff in it, and what we learned from it. You guys, thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and always hit the bell to get notified on our next video. Okay, so let's start out with the very beginning of beginnings. What we have and how do we use it. So it's a pretty small space. Let's go through exactly what items we thought a backpacking van, camper van should have. The number one priority we thought it should have is a place to keep cold things, cooler, and we want to cook out. We want to use a grill, and so we want to use a stove. But as backpackers that we are, we imagine all of that stuff in the beautiful weather and the summer days, but then we thought of it when it was raining, pouring. We're trapped in the van. What do we do? And that's how we started to build it. We literally worked backwards from what if it's really crappy outside and we're stuck in the van. Worst case scenario, in the van, can't get out. Okay, worst nightmare, by the way, too. So this is kind of like I positioned the van and built the van in two different seating positions. I'm facing the cab, I'm facing the driver's seat, and I've got cooking and I've got my water on each side of me. I can reach back, get food. I can reach forward, getting into the cooler or what will be a refrigerator at some point in time and get what I need. I'll have a stove set up here and I've got my water here. Well, this is how I did it. There's nothing like a good old-fashioned foot pump. I've got this at a marine store, and this foot pump goes into my water tank that comes out, that comes through this faucet that I can turn and just get water what I need. But I also put a valve in here so water doesn't drip out and drip on the floor and get all messy. And this is really easy. Get water here and then cook here. Very, very, very simple. The other thing that was really important, obviously, is the one thing that Ariane and I will not ever compromise on. It is our 640 watt mini Mr. Coffee with just an on-off switch, no special features. It makes 4.5 cups of coffee. We're good to go. Absolutely. But one of the things we do to save battery power and our inverter power is we pour it in a Stanley thermos. This thing will keep coffee pretty hot, and I mean hot, for at least an hour after you make the coffee. So we turn off the coffee after it's done, pour it in the thermos, keep this around. We can drive with it, boom, driving, or go outside, boom, have it. We carry it with us, or put it in the backpack over there and walk around with it. Absolutely a necessity. Well, speaking of 640 watts, how do I get electricity in the van? I have two 100 watt solar panels coming in series, charging two 6-volt batteries in series, making one 12-volt battery with 225 amp hours. This tells me exactly how much solar I'm pulling in, how much amps I've pulled in. So far on my trip, I have pulled in 106 amps of solar. That is almost 50% of everything I would ever use in my battery before I couldn't use it anymore. So usually if you have a 225 amp battery system, you can use about 50% of it. With the Trojan 2105s, which I have, you can actually even go under 50%. However, I always keep it at 50%. So far on this trip, I pulled in 106 amps of solar. Not bad. I also rigged a little shelving unit. This is just very, very simple. Holds all my cups. Also hold some other camping stuff. You'll notice the pocket rocket and a regular isopropane fuel container. This is a quick down and dirty way to get hot water without setting up the camp stove or the Coleman stove. I set it up, do it, get hot water, make coffee, and I'm done. Of course, on the days that I can't make coffee or I don't want to use the inverter to draw 640 watts and 12 amps off my battery, then I just boil the water using the pocket rocket, pour it into a French press, boom, I have coffee, hot coffee, and then I take this same coffee, pour it into the Stanley thermos. Either way, that coffee is going into the Stanley thermos, and I get a hot cup of coffee for at least an hour. All my plates, dishware, everything is in here. I don't really need much. I need something to boil water. I have 2 cook plates that are non-stick to cook eggs, bacon, plates, some plastic plates, and that's it. That's my total dishware. The whole operation is down here. This is where my battery compartment is, and that is a battery cutoff switch right there. Boom. With my fuse box. And that is the whole brains of the van right there. Of course, when I'm sitting on the other side of the van, I'm facing the back of the van. This is where all my non-perishable foods are. I've got coffee, peanut butter, a couple Pop-Tarts, all food that's completely perishable. But that is where the backpacking van starts getting really good, because I've got all my Mountain House foods in there. I've got all my oatmeal foods in there. I've got all the foods like pre-cooked bacon. Everything that I would take on a backpacking trip, I have right in front of me. The propane tank is stored underneath the kind of like the, I would say, the first kitchen counter. I actually have 2 kitchen counters. One is here. This is where the propane tank is. I've got an extension cord or an extension gas propane line that goes right to here, and that feeds the Coleman stove. When I'm in the van, it's raining and I can't get outside. Once I start cooking, of course, then I just open up my table. And a lot of times when it is raining, I can actually open up the doors to the van and still see outside. Maybe a little rain comes in here and there, but at some point in time I will have a canopy here that I want to be able to roll down, keep the doors open for ventilation, but not let the rain in. I haven't done that yet, but I'm eager to build that that part of the van build. But here, this is where I you know, like I put stuff here. I can turn the stove either one way or the other way and cook and be fine. I've also got some bottled water. This is storage. All my cookware is in here that I can make pancakes. I've got a cutting board in there. I've got all my spatulas, forks, everything in there in the van. On this door is also a bunch of storage. I have my trash bags. I've got some toilet paper. I've got all my paper towels. We have a day pack that we put stuff in here and storage. Like sometimes if we, you know, we have some drinks in there. You know, what, soda, water, we put that in there, so when we close the door, it's very easy access. All of this stuff is in here is filled with Kroger bags and Walmart bags that we use to pick up trash if we have trash, or if we find somebody else's trash we can put in there. But it's great insulation. It helps the van stay insulated. Here I've got my lighter, bags, off bug spray. There I've got poop bags for the dogs right in there, and everything we need when the doors close, it's all right there. Ah, there's the Coleman stove. So this is the really cool part of the van build. The bed is actually split in 2. This table right here completely pulls out, and I can either cook back here, or I can pull the whole table out when we do our podcast, and we can set up both of our laptops. We can use the table to work outdoors. If it's really nice outside, we can have a picnic on it. We can use that as a food table. It's got a multiple types of uses that we can do. But also, when I don't want to cook in here and I want to have room, let's say Ariana's in front there, I can be back here cooking, and it gets everything out of the way. We can bring everything in the kitchen right back here and use it as a secondary kitchen. Of course, when we're not using this would go back in, that would go back in front, and of course then the table just gets pushed all the way out. This is my water for my sink, for my dirty dishes. It's just regular tap water. You could probably drink out of this. It's definitely potable water, but we use this because I can pull out, do the dishes real quick, and tuck this back in. This is the hose for the propane tank. Now the propane tank sitting back here has multiple uses also. Absolutely, we have a portable EcoTemp LP5 hot water shower. This is like a camper shower, but you get the hot water. I've got a 7-gallon tank of water with a pump that pushes out water at 25 psi. This takes 2 D batteries to ignite the propane. It heats up right away, and you have a absolutely beautiful shower. Okay, let's talk about the storage capacity of the van. So I have 7 containers, plastic containers of storage. All of our backpacking gear, all of Ariane's climbing gear. I have his and her, like my stuff, backpacking stuff. We have tools. I've got a portable circular saw, a cordless circular saw. I have a cordless drill. I have screws. I have wiring. I have everything that you could need in case you were on the road, you need to fix something, something broke, or you needed to help somebody else and they needed some tools. Everything that I have been able to fit in this van, I have 7 containers of gear. So what does that mean? What does that all mean for the camper van and the backpacker van? That means this: none of this, none goes into the Airstream. Not one iota. None of our backpacking gear, none of our winter gear, none of our alpine gear, none of Ariane's climbing gear, nothing. None of our sleeping bags. All of our sleeping bags are lined on the top with a cargo net for insulation. Nothing says insulation better than 850 fill goose down bag. And we're using that. We multi-purpose everything in the van. Everything has a dual purpose. So our backpacks are actually hung on the wall in, did I say wall? Our backpacks are hung in the van as our clothing bag. So when we're in the van and we need to change, we just unhook our backpacks. We can bring them back here. If we need to take a shower, we need to go up front. If we need to change, if we just need to change, we can roll back the curtain, the shower curtain for privacy and change here. But all of our clothes are in our backpacks. So I got our hiking poles in there. Now, adjacent to all of this, adjacent to the bed that is able to sleep 2 people and 2 dogs. There are times when we may feel a little squished. There may be times when it's so beautiful outside, we want to open up the van, let some air in. Well, I set up an Eno hammock system in the van. So Ariane and the 2 dogs can sleep in the bed, and I can sleep in the hammock, all inside the van. So this is the hammock. Just get in here, and I can sleep here, or Ariane can sleep here. Completely straddled across the van, and one of us can sleep in the corner diagonally, and then the 2 dogs can sleep in the front and the back. Well, that's the way it's supposed to go anyway. So my question to you, how would you do a backpacking van or a camper van? What amenities would you like to have? What would you want? What would you need? You know, what do you think a good camper van should be? Should be able to boondock or be out there for weeks on end? Should it just be for the weekend trip? What would your idea of the perfect camper van be? I would love for you to tell me in comments. Anyway, I wanted to give you guys an official tour of the van. It's always going to get better. We're always going to modify it. We're always going to do different things with it. And as we travel more and more and more, and things break or things don't work or other things, I've already had to modify some things already that I thought were genius, but it ended up being stupid. I'd love to know your thoughts. I would love to know what you would think. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video and the camper van video. The backpacking van finally done on the road and taking the road trip. Cannot wait to take these backpacks out of here and hit the trail. So you guys, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. In the meantime, trust the trail, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.